welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make this quick and easy, super soft, perfectly round Magwinya recipe. If you are new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss a single recipe from me. All the measurements will be available for you in the description box below. This is a quick and easy recipe. If you follow all the steps, you should always get perfectly round Magwinya or Vetkoeks. So to begin with, I'm going to be adding my flour into the bowl. Then I'm going to be adding some butter. I prefer to use butter in my dough, but you're also welcome to use oil. So in the description box, I will have both the measurements for butter and oil for you to choose from. Then I added a little bit of salt. Then I'm going to add some sugar, and then lastly we're going to add our main ingredient, and it is going to be instant yeast. So I am adding my yeast into my bowl with the dry ingredients. I'm not going to allow it to activate outside of this process. So I am using a mixing I am using a stand mixer for this recipe, but you can also get the perfect round ones if you're going to be kneading them by hand. I just prefer to use a stand mixer, especially this mixer that I've got, because it does have an opening window where I can just add the water into the dough as I mix it. So the first step that I did there was just to give it a quick mix so that all the dry ingredients can be well distributed. Then I'm going to be adding my warm water. So I've started by just adding 1 cup, and then I'm just going to allow that to mix through quickly. And this is what the mixture is looking like with just 1 cup. And then next I'm going to be adding the 2nd cup of water. And you'll continue this process until you get to the consistency that you will see. In the description box, I will say 2 and a quarter cups of water. The extra quarter is just to make sure that you get to the correct consistency for your dough mixture. After about 3 to 5 minutes mixing it in the mixer, I am going to be separating my dough. So the mixer is quite fast. If you are kneading this by hand, obviously you might spend an extra 10 to 15 minutes kneading your dough, and you'll know that your dough is perfectly fine when it stops sticking on your hands. Also, to help with the sticking process of your dough, once you've kneaded it and it sort of all comes together, I'd strongly recommend that you use some oil on your hands so that you can hold onto your dough without it sticking. So I am just going to be patting a little bit of oil on top of my dough, and then I'm going to be putting it back into the mixing bowl, and I'm going to allow this to rise. So I am using the same mixing bowl just also to save myself from making a lot of dishes, and I am going to be using the lid from the stand mixer, but you can use a dishcloth, and then you can just put your bowl in a very warm area for 2 to 3 hours. You can also let this rise overnight for an even better result. So after 2 to 3 hours, this is what our dough looks like. I am going to be working on my chopping board just so you guys can see better, but I don't recommend you doing this process on a chopping board because removing the oil is just a headache. So I do recommend that you do it on your counter. You can sprinkle a little bit of oil on your counter, or you can add a little bit of flour, whichever one you prefer. So I've just removed my dough from the mixing bowl, and then again I'm going to be adding a little bit of oil onto the palm of my hands just so that it's much easier for me to work with the dough without having it sticking on my hands all the time. And you can see it was already sticking on my chopping board, and I decided, let me put the oil on the chopping board, which I don't recommend that you do. You should rather do this on your counter just for cleaning purposes, but if you don't mind the extra 5 minutes of cleaning your chopping board, you can go ahead. So the perfect round Magwinya is done like this. You use this method where you pinch it between your thumb and your index finger, and you're going to do it to a size that you prefer. Obviously I made mine a little bit bigger. You can make yours a little bit smaller than mine, and I made mine different sizes just because I also wanted my toddler to have some. And because our dough is well mixed, you'll find that it's very easy to work with it even without having it sticking on your hands. Okay, so then I've just added my dough mixture into a pan, and I've heated my oil. The oil heating is also very important. Please make sure that your oil is hot enough before you put your dough inside of it. This will also prevent it from browning and burning before the center cooks, so you want to make sure that you do that thoroughly. Once the one side has cooked, you will then just flip it over or allow it to flip itself over, whichever way comes first, and then that will take around about 5 minutes or so. Once your first batch is out, I recommend that you switch your stove off or just lower the heat setting just to keep it at a constant temperature. You don't want it to continue heating up and burning, because then when you put your second batch in, you'll find that they're going to brown much quicker, and then they are not going to cook through, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to be adding all those dough balls that you guys saw in the previous clips, and I'm going to be adding them in. It's also important to make sure that you keep enough space inside your pan, and this is what they're going to be turning out to look like. You can see they're perfectly round, and this is also because you can actually forge or form the roundness of the shape with your dough, because it's really not that sticky. This is just an illustration of what it looks like in the inside. You can see it just looks so divine, especially when it's hot during this winter. We all deserve a bite of that. But that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss a single recipe from me. Comment in the comment section, like this video, and I'll see you guys next time.